Mm.
Tim, just a heads up. Chris texted me that he's having computer issues and he's trying to get them resolved.
Okay.
So
We're just going to have to wait for a quorum.
Hello.
We're doing our best.
I know you are, and I didn't mean that against you.
Oh, no. It's just the irony that,
Yes,
of
that's
course,
right.
these two need the quorum, didn't have it the last time, and now we have to wait for the quorum.
So sorry.
Nothing we can do about it. We just hopefully Chris can get it resolved, or just dial in, and worst comes to worst, that's what he'll have to do, and at least then we'll have everybody.
Good.
Where'd Carolyn go? Come back, Carolyn.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, right now we have Carolyn, Candy. We need Chris Carpus and Chris Campo. We have all the C's.
Wait,
Chris, Candy, and Carolyn.
C to the fourth.
Yeah,
He'll
I
show
was
up shortly.
just going to see if Carpus is available. Make sure that he remembers.
this is kind of an odd time. I actually didn't remember, and Jerry said, "Don't forget your meeting." So crazy.
Lenny is resending Chris Campo the link, so hopefully he should be joining shortly.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself and make a quick phone call.
Hey, can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. My computer just froze up.
Sorry, we're still waiting on the other Chris too. So
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, it just never happened before. It just froze. I don't have any computer, so I'm not going off my phone. So I'll
okay.
do the best I can.
Yeah, I think Tim's calling Chris Carpus right now. So
Okay.
Just got off the phone with Chris Carpus. He should be logging in here shortly. Kind of did what everybody else was doing, was odd time. So just give it a couple more minutes, and then I see Chris's name. There's Carpus. We have Campo as well.
All right. We ready to call the December 3rd meeting of the Town Somerville's Design Review Board together to order. First order of business is 1200 North Main Street. And Tim, if you would just kind of recap and introduce the project again.
Yep.
That'd be good.
Give me 1 second. All right. Why is this? What is? There we go. So, 1200 North Main Street. This is a request for final approval for the proposed facade improvements and minor site changes to the former Sticky Fingers restaurants located at 1200 North Main. This was last in front of the board back in September, where it received its conceptual review. Staff comments include that the site modifications are bringing this closer to compliance with current standards. With the prior modifications during the addition of the building to the rear, the parking spaces closest to North Main Street, which were shown on the plat, were removed. So that comment, which was addressed back in September, that has been addressed. The canopy tree spacing meets the internal parking lot planting requirements, and staff feels that the applicant addressed the board's comments by removing the awning between the windows on the Main Street facade. So I will click over, and my system is running very slow because I'm working remotely. So I don't know why this is being as finicky as it is today. This is the existing site. And this is the proposed site changes, including the additional landscape islands, future courtyard area, dumpster enclosure. And I think the bigger issue, more than the site, they are adding the bicycle racks as required. I think the bigger issue was the overall design. So I will move forward to that. This is the existing, and I can turn it over to David Shook, who was responsible for this project, and allow him to address the board.
And if I could interject, David, if I could just interject real quick. This is Chris Campo. For those of the board that were not here at the last meeting, I think David gave a good overview of the project, and generally we felt like they did the best they could given the circumstances of a renovation. And we did not take a vote or anything like that, but felt pretty good about it. So David, the floor is yours.
I want to thank the board for this special meeting. I know it's going out of your way, especially at this time of the year, but we appreciate your efforts in that regard. I'm going to skip over the site since we went straight to the elevations. Based on the comments made at the last meeting, we removed a lot of the horizontal banding we had put on the new part of the facade. This was kind of a carryover from what exists on the Berkeley Circle elevation, which is in the bottom in the slide. But it was given too much of a horizontal feeling to the building, which the board objected to, so we removed most of that. We made the larger tenant entrance a different color, again, to help break up the horizontal nature of the building and to also break up that monotone of the beige. We repeated the front element on the bottom elevation as requested by the board. We turned the corner so that it matches on both sides of that Meeting Street, Berkeley Circle corner. One of the comments was possibly make the top band a different color, but again, after we looked at that, it looked like it reinforced that horizontality that we're trying to get away from. We removed the awning. There was not over windows. The new stucco cladding is limited to the two taller elements. The rest of the new facade will be hardy lap siding. And let's see, we changed the awning color to black as requested by the board. I think that addressed all the board's comments. from the meeting prior to the last meeting. So I'll kind of turn it over to the board and I'll be opening questions, comments.
I had a question on the 3 proposed rear elevation. Is that a door on the right?
This one here, Carolyn?
Yes,
That's an existing door.
it is a door. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Don't we usually like to have some kind of overhang?
Okay.
Yeah, to be consistent, we normally ask for overhangs just to protect the doors if we can.
What about the other elevation? There's a door with nothing over it. The Berkeley Circle elevation.
That's going to be an emergency exit only. And I think if we put an awning, we're going to be into the, we're going over the right of way because the property line is just inches away from the building.
Yeah, this building is basically right on
It is.
the right of way there. And if he was projecting into, if they put an awning over there and it's projecting into the public right of way, he would need an encroachment permit to be able to do that. And I don't think one door on that side really merits trying to get that. I mean, if you guys feel that that's necessary, I mean, by all means, but it is legit.
So it's really just an emergency exit to get out of the building. It's not used as an entrance.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think
Right.
if it's an emergency exit and it's used just for that purpose and not entering, I think that's fine.
I think it's fine too.
You could go back to the elevations again, please.
Yes, sir.
The owner of the building at this point doesn't have any tenants. However, he has been talking to a tenant and there may be a request from that tenant to relocate that door we were just talking about, potentially add a new door. Will we need to come back to the board if we do something like that, or can the staff handle that?
Which door are you talking about? That they might
The
relocate?
one to the right, in the middle elevations, the one on the
The one
very,
to the far right, the proposed rear elevation?
yes, right there.
This one here.
Yeah, their plan slightly moves that. And it adds another door toward the other side to access that courtyard dining.
I think staff should be able to handle that.
Yeah, I don't think that doesn't really
Absolutely.
fundamentally change any design or anything. I'm fine with staff handling that.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm curious why that door is so different than the door on the left of that proposed rear elevation. Is that an exit door only also, or is that what is that?
The one in
The solid one, all the way to the right.
that's that'll be their service door to the kitchen area.
Service door to the kitchen, okay.
Yeah, and a second means of egress from the building. That comes out where the dumpsters are.
So with the awning on that, it'll balance off. So it should be fine.
Have you thought about that dumpster being right there beside your outside seating?
We have, and one of the comments made in the previous meeting was to put a more substantial wall between that. At this point, all that work would be part of the tenant's improvements, and we don't know what they're going to do. So they'll have to come back to you, their architects, with those plans, at which time I think that can be made. If that tenant doesn't go in there, it could be a retail tenant that doesn't have outside dining, or it's
Okay.
not an issue. So it kind of depends. Nothing's leased in this building yet. There's a lot of talk.
That's about the only place to put the dumpster, it
It
seems.
is.
So that works.
Mr. Carpus, do you have any comments?
The only comment I really was going to add pertain to what y'all just talked about. What that side elevation would look like with that little knee wall or fence or whatever it would be around the outdoor dining area as it relates to the dumpster would be kind of important. But y'all covered that, so I appreciate all the effort to look at what we talked about last time, separating the canopies, beefing up the front corner there. So I think it looks pretty good.
I do too.
Are there any other board members besides Carolyn, Candy, and Chris Carpus on the call?
No, nobody else was able to make it.
Okay. I think we are ready for a motion if someone would like to make one. And Tim, are they asking for preliminary or final?
Final.
Final. Would someone like to make a motion for final approval?
Well, I'll make a motion for final approval based on what's presented, and that, of course, if they do anything to that side, add a dining area or anything, that they just have to come back for that. But I make a motion for approval.
Okay. And did that include the comments regarding the awnings over the doors?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any further discussion? Mr. Shook, do you have any other questions or anything like that before we vote?
No, thank you.
All right. I'm going to do a roll call vote as for final approval with conditions. Carolyn,
Yes.
Candy,
Yes.
Carpus,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. All right. The yeses have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Tim, if you would make the next introductions, please.
Yes, sir. Let me get there. The next item, number 2 on old business, is an application for final approval for a proposed 7,500 square foot multi-tenant office building at Farm Road. This was previously at the board in September for conceptual review. We did discuss the items that at the last meeting in November when we lost our quorum. Basically the items addressed in the staff report, the wall material, I believe the DRB, the members present at that point, were okay with that material. The facade facing Farm Road has no windows, which does not meet the design guidelines. The DRB, once again, seemed to be okay with approving an exception to that requirement. And did want to note that the site appears to be in compliance with the requirements. Mr. Brislin did send over a updated version of the plans today. If we want to address the site, it does have the photometrics, does have the circles, the 60-foot radius showing that they're meeting the landscape requirement, which was accidentally missed in the last submittal. Landscape layout. This is the lighting photometric plan, which does meet the requirements. And then he also sent over the architectural, which did not have in the packet that was sent out, the color elevations or renderings. Um,
One more page. There you go.
and there we go.
Well, that color doesn't do well, but oh well. That's a cream color it's supposed to be. It didn't. It looks better on my computer, but anyways. Go one more, Tim.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, there you go.
So are
The color
awnings-
scheme matches the existing building across the way, right? So the previous building has that green metal trim and the cream colored panels. And the roof is a darker bronze color. So it's the colors were an attempt to match the one directly across the parking lot.
Gene, the bottom one that we're looking at looks like it's a different color. Maybe that is green and it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think it
Looks
is.
blue on my computer, but it's probably green.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a green, like a forest
Oh,
green,
when
which
he
is what
enlarged it, it's green. I got it. Okay.
Okay,
Good. Thank
there you
you.
go. So I
Colors
did
look
go,
fine.
Chris Campo, I did go out to Bacon's Bridge and walked and took photos of the site visibility. So if you're standing at the intersection of Edisto and Bacon's Bridge, if you look back towards that area, you can't see much. You have to go down Edisto roughly 100 feet. And if you look over there, you can see that area. But based on the plantings that I have on the moving those trees and the plantings we have on that private road, farm road side, you're not going to be able to see much. If you go down Bacon's Bridge from that red light 100 feet or so, there's a home that has huge magnolia trees, and so only for about 100 feet from that traffic light. So it's a very small window of where you can see that site. And even when you do see that site, could you go back to the landscape, not the color landscape, but the black and white landscape? Keep going back. Yeah, the trees that I have there at that entrance, yeah, right there are gonna block that view, that 100 foot there. You're not gonna really be able to see that building much at all. I took some pictures, but I didn't send them to Tim. Already sent them.
Alrighty. That's fine. Appreciate you doing that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what color was the roof again? I apologize.
it's a dark bronze. It's like a brownish color,
And that's-
a darker bronze color, which is the same with the doors, right? So they match the storefront windows that they had, which was a dark bronze, and then the color scheme was that dark bronze, that green, which is a forest green, and then the cream color panels.
Okay, and that's
Again,
that's what the other buildings have out there.
Yes, ma'am. It's the one right across the parking lot there. Go back, Tim. I'm sorry. Go back to the site plan.
I know where you're saying.
Oh, yeah, that one there that he's got his hand on is the newest building that was just added, and we're matching the color scheme of that. The other ones are block
Okay.
CMU buildings.
Okay. Looks good.
Alrighty. Candy, do you have any other comments or questions?
Oh, I think it looks pretty good. I'm glad we got all those other things added though. So that was
Yeah.
great. Thank you, Gene, for getting that into us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Photometrics and the landscape and.
Yeah, that was very helpful.
Mhm.
Chris Carpus, anything you would like to comment on?
No, not really. Gene, the one of the existing buildings out there has a green water table like that.
Gene,
You're-
you're muted.
I hit my mouse pad by accident and that shut that off. I apologize. Of course, if I was on CNN, I would be happy to be muted, but I'm not. But, so no, that's the only one that has the water table on it. The other ones do not. They're just a typical metal building. We added that to give us two different kind of materials on the front wall there. And so, but the building across the street, the trim on the eve of the edges, the trim material on the roof is that that Kelly green. And so this one's going to have, whereas that one has 10% green, this one's going to have what, maybe 20-30% green. So it'll be a little more in terms of that color. But anyways, does that answer, Chris? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and that's just metal though, right?
No, that's going to be vertical board and batten hardy plank.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't really have an objection to it. I would say architecturally, you can take this for whatever. Don't feel like you have to do that. That green, it's going to stand out quite a bit, and it may be more than what you really want. But then again, it can be darker or whatever. But I don't really have a big objection to it. I just don't. I think it might detract more than it adds, based on the color.
Right, and I'm afraid that rendering doesn't do it justice, Chris. I think it's going to be a darker green than that.
Okay.
And I apologize for that. That's just I guess the world of computer graphics. It's hard to get things to show up on every computer the right shade.
Oh yeah, it never really works 100%.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, but the intent is to have that darker, kind of forest green.
Okay. I was just wondering. Yeah, there's always a balance, the balance, and if it's darker, I think it'd be all right. I was just asking, but I have no objection to anything on it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and you're asking for final approval, correct?
Correct.
All right, would someone like to make a motion? Carolyn. Candy.
I'm talking. Can you hear me?
We can now. We couldn't earlier.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve as presented with the photometrics, the landscaping, the colors, and the discussion.
Very good. Okay.
Second.
The second from Caroline. All right, we'll do the roll call vote again. Carolyn?
Yes.
Yes. Candy?
Aye.
Mr. Carpus?
Yes.
And I say yes as well. So final approval is granted.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Tim.
all.
You guys
Tim,
have
do
a
we
good
have any other
holiday.
business? You too. Thank you. Tim, any other business?
No, sir. We have no other business on the agenda. We'll have our regularly scheduled meeting in 2 weeks, give or take. The 17th, I think it is. And we're going to have 8 items on the agenda, all new items.
Great.
Sorry, I can't control who submits.
Yeah.
So
Alrighty.
Bring
it
it
looks
up.
like a fun one. So if you guys want to adjourn, yeah.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Alrighty. And was that a second by Candy?
Yes, second.
All right. All in favor, just sign off.
Have a good day, everybody. Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
everybody.
We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Bye.
thank you. Sign.